These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Friday, August 2nd, with the middle of August news to cover for you guys, but we're here no matter what. So don't you worry about it. The one thing you never have to worry about is us not putting up a podcast, because we have put up a podcast every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday for over a year now, and videos on the channel every day. So leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see Celtics content on your feed every single day, even in the depths of off-season hell. But we are here ready to talk hoops. How you doing, Sam?
Doing pretty good. It's August. That means we're 2 months away from content being back. Quick note for today's show. We're recording this on Friday, August 2nd. That means the Olympic game that happened on August 3rd is not in this episode. We'll do a video on that separately. Jack and I are both very busy on the 3rd. So, unfortunately, we cannot pod on that day. But we still have content for you. Have some news, some Celtics news, some what ifs. It's going to be a fun show. Actually, legitimately no NBA news. But we'll have Rattlers too at the end. We are still here for you. We will try and make it a fun pod. And you can depend on us. So subscribe, leave a like, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our content. We're here every day, season or off season.
Yes, sir. We got you guys covered. Let's start with Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward announced his retirement from the NBA the other day. Spent his final year with the Hornets/Thunder after a trade. Spent 14 seasons in the league with Utah, Boston, Charlotte, and OKC for a brief stint. Obviously, the OKC stint didn't end very well. But it was the 9th pick in 2010, which I forgot he was drafted so high. My buddy texted me, Danny texted me after. He goes, I always think it's funny how many people just love to share the clip of Gordon Hayward missing the buzzer beater of Butler from half court. But after Hayward announced his retirement, all that Celtics fans could talk about was what if he didn't break his leg? What if his tenure was good? What would have happened, et cetera, et cetera. And as so to not bury the lead, I think it's for the best that he did. And obviously not in the sense of his career. Like, I would never wish that on the career, but in terms of if you look at the way things played out for the Celtics, pretty okay.
Went all right.
Pretty good. Pretty okay.
So I'm watching some highlights right now, Hayward, after his injury. And obviously they're highlights, so you always see the good stuff. But it was a very strange time with the Celtics because there was so much hype heading into that season. We really all felt like they were going to compete with Cleveland. When the Hayward signing happened, it was actually the 4th of July. Isaiah Thomas was the point guard on the team. There was so much excitement regarding Hayward's emergence, arrival, playing alongside Isaiah. Then they trade Isaiah for Kyrie. So there's even more hype because Kyrie was a megastar at the time. Everybody thought the Celtics were going to be towards the top. Then opening night, he literally snaps his leg. It's one of the saddest moments that I can remember as a fan. And then from there, he just was never the same again. He comes back next season. There's the weird expectations for the team that they're going to be this incredible powerhouse team. And they showed flashes of it, but they never quite got there because, well, nobody knew what their role was. Hayward wasn't Hayward. He thought he was Hayward. The young guys weren't quite ready yet. They wanted more responsibility because they just brought the team to the conference finals, and it just didn't work. But it was a fun run in the bubble till he hurt himself. Right? He was like the best player on that team until he rolled his ankle.
I forget what he averaged in the bubble. Let me take a look. Or we can look at his stats and stuff because, like you said, he did roll his ankle. I will say, I mean, I've definitely told the story in the pod before, but I vividly remember where I was and what I was doing because I did a cappella in college, and so I was at a rehearsal, and me and this other guy in the group were Celtics guys, and so we had the game on our phone. We had binders with the music, sheet music for singing, and I had my phone in the binder so no one could the what is it called? Director couldn't see what I was doing, and it happened, and we both just looked up at the same time, mouth agape, oh my god, did that really just happen? And no one else knew what was happening because we were the only ones watching, and so everyone just kind of looked at us because we were sitting there shocked in awe, as you do when somebody snaps their leg in the first 2 minutes or whatever of the season. But yeah, man, Gordon Hayward in the bubble that year. Taking a look, I can look at his playoff stats and look at his actual playoff games because, like you mentioned, he was better before he hurt his ankle. In the playoffs that year, he played one game actually in the playoffs before he hurt his ankle, and then he went down. But he was really good in that game. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, shot 5 of 13, 2 of 6. He actually wasn't that efficient, but he played a lot of minutes. Then he came back, obviously missed the birth of his son, or his child. I think it was a daughter actually. And then he played all right. I only say it was a daughter because I know there's a viral clip of Gordon Hayward like only having daughters. Hayward to have a son. Let's take a look. Was it? Yeah, their 4th child is Gordon Hayward. Yeah. Okay, you're right. It was his first son. It was his 4th child, first son. Gordon Hayward was good, man. He was just like a great all-around basketball player. He could score at all the levels. He was a solid defender. He was a great passer for his size. Utah Gordon Hayward was nasty. Utah Gordon Hayward was really good. And then there were these high expectations when he came to Boston, obviously. And he never really got the chance to live them out, which sucked because he's a damn good player. But again, if you think about it, like Gordon Hayward never gets hurt. Tatum definitely doesn't get the development he gets in his first season. You never have that run. You never have the infamous LeBron dunk, which I know you hate, but like the point is having those big playoff moments. That was insane. I'm looking at the highlights. Look at this fucking attempted dunk. Oh my God. You never get that. Even like the bubble, like he got hurt again in the bubble. That's more playoff experience for Tatum and Brown right there. Like they carried that team. That was realistically their first time having to carry team as the best players, because Tatum was obviously the best player in the run, but he wasn't entering as the best player, and they were kind of looked at as the best players in that 2020 run. And then by the time the 10-year ended, like if he never got hurt, he'd probably resigns, and maybe Tatum or Brown gets traded to try to help Hayward and Kyrie win. Maybe, you know, one of them gets split up and they develop somewhere else. And so realistically, and obviously it took Tatum and Brown a little longer than people wanted to get the job done. But now that they have, you've got a 5+ year future with 2 stars on the younger side. And I don't think that would have happened had Hayward not got hurt. Again, don't wish he got hurt because that sucks for his career. You never want to see anybody get hurt, regardless whether they're on the Celtics or another team. But in general, if we're talking about it from the context of the development of Tatum and Brown in the future of the Celtics, everything worked out, I think, for the best of the franchise.
Yeah, because
unfortunately,
even if like everything went to plan in the first season, like, do they beat Cleveland? Probably. Do they beat Golden State? No. Do they beat them the next year? Probably not. Like, maybe it goes better. Maybe Kyrie keeps himself together there, and you know the team is successful and maybe has a better couple years than they did. But we would not be watching the same basketball that we're watching now had this not happened. I will say Hayward's final season with the Celtics in the 19-20 season, he was actually pretty good. Like 17.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, 50% from the field, 38% from 3. Like that was the guy they paid for. He did kind of get it back up to speed. He still wasn't quite at the level that everybody thought he was going to be, but he certainly looked the most comfortable that season. Playing alongside Kemba was something he did really well. So I almost feel like we got a glimpse into what could have been, but at the same time, it never was that. He just did a really good job of bouncing back, getting to the best level he could get, fitting in with the Celtics the best that he could. And at that point, especially in the bubble, Tatum was emerging. Like the bubble was the Tatum emergence year. It really felt like, yes, we'd seen flashes. Yes, we knew he could play. Yes, we had the 2018 playoff run where he was unbelievable. He was the guy on that team. He had so much hype going into the 18-19 season. But the bubble was the coming out party for Tatum, where you were watching him and you were just like, wow, like this is the best guy on the floor. Like he's dominating games. And I'm not sure he would have been ready for that had Hayward not gone out for a year. It's just too bad because the hype, the money, all of that was so exciting. And it does feel like they could have made the final sooner than they did, but I'm not sure that they win a title sooner than they did.
I think that's a good point that I didn't even think about. Like, they weren't beating the Warriors. Sorry. Like, that version of the Celtics, I don't think would have beaten the Warriors. I
thing,
think they might have given them a series. I don't think they do it. And so, go ahead.
yeah.
You can go.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna say. Like the only thing you can kind of like keep in your back pocket on that is they always played the Warriors well when
They
like
did.
during that time frame. Like they would beat the Warriors
But
in Golden State. Like
by
those guys came to play against the Warriors.
But by Hayward getting hurt, I don't want to say they threw that small era of the Celtics away because they didn't, but they effectively like bounced that era for this current one. And I feel much more confident about the Celtics in this current era than versus those Warriors teams. And so, like, I think from that perspective, at the very least, it was probably for the best, unfortunately. But, anyways, all right. Next thing we've got is Jaylen Brown is launching an initiative called Boston XChange. I wrote about it for Hardwood Houdini. So if you'd like a written breakdown, make sure to read it there. Also check out Shirley Lung. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Leung. Shirley Lang, maybe, of the Boston Globe, did the reporting on it for the Boston Globe, which I mostly aggregated from. So read their article as well. But he's starting a nonprofit initiative that is set to generate $5 billion in generational wealth for communities of color in the city of Boston. According to the website Boston XChange, BXC, quote, is dedicated to fostering innovation and cultural diversity, empowering underinvested creators and entrepreneurs to thrive. Shirley Long reported that BXC is now accepting applicants for the Boston Creator Incubator Plus Accelerator, the program, which is going to be co-run by Drew and Lauren Holliday's JLH Social Impact Fund. Quote, will sponsor 10 entrepreneurs in Greater Boston in design, arts, media, entertainment, fashion, and culinary arts. He also spoke to Lang, again, I'm so sorry if this is pronounced wrong, about what he hopes to accomplish. He said, this is a quote from Jaylen, said, quote, one of our goals is to identify gaps and amplify the incredible work that's already taken place. We've been building resources for more than a year, but BXC is just getting started and we can't do it alone. Obviously, Jaylen Brown signed his NBA record contract extension with the Celtics in the summer of 2023. And at the time, he made a commitment to attacking the wealth gap in Boston, bringing back Black Wall Street in Boston. And ever since then, he has been working to make good on those promises and goals. And I think this is a huge step and a big first step, because I don't think he's anywhere close to done at doing that. I mean, this is a guy who was ranked top 25 most influential people in the city. He was the only athlete on that list outside of the hypothetical Patriots quarterback, which is now Drake May, which was a silly thing to put on the list, in my opinion, in the first place. The impact Jaylen Brown has had on the city of Boston over the years is unmeasurable and outweighs anything he's done on the court, and that includes bringing a championship to Boston. So he's just an amazing human being. What he's doing is incredible, and this is the latest step, which is an awesome one.
Yeah. So I'm looking for it now, and I don't think I'm gonna find it, but Jaylen is the epitome of like somebody who sees something that people may not like and is trying to make it better. A lot of the discussion, this is going with somewhere, I promise. A lot of the discussion when Jaylen was here and Kyrie had left, I don't know if you remember. I don't remember what the year was. I don't remember exactly like what sparked this. I think it might have been the series where he threw the water bottle at like Kyrie, but I'm not sure. Jaylen was talking about kind of like the rap the city gets. Like people say Boston is a racist place, and whether or not you feel that's true is your own opinion. But if Jaylen feels that way, he's doing something to change it. Like he's not saying like, I just don't want to be here. I don't like the way society works here. I don't like the class system, whatever. He's going and he's doing everything he can to try and leave the city a better place than he found it. Whether Jaylen Brown lives in Boston forever as someone who is retired from basketball is another story. But while he is playing for the Celtics, while he is a part of the community, he's part of the city, he is clearly dedicated to trying to make it better for people he feels are underprivileged, underserved, and that is so admirable. It's not even a political thing. It's just what he believes in. It's a way he feels like he can better the community, and that is a fantastic thing. It's great. I'm so happy that this is something he is putting time into. I know it's something that was discussed when he signed the Supermax last summer. There was a huge press conference. He had the bridge program there. Those bridge program kids had the opportunity to be a part of the parade. He has done a tremendous job of just making strides in that area. Really good for Jaylen. You may have more details on it than I do, but just from a baseline, very impressive work from him.
I mean, everyone, I think the problem is, and we don't have to dive too deep into this because it's not our place to talk about, but I feel like the biggest problem is when everyone says, "Oh, Boston is racist," people immediately try to defend it rather than saying it. Yes, obviously it has that history, and then try to change it from there. Because I think that should be the action. And I think, like you mentioned, that's what Jaylen's trying to do. And I think if everyone just had that mindset, it'd be a much better place in general and moving forward. So, shout out to Jaylen. Everything he does for the city of Boston is incredible. And he deserves a ton of credit for that. But if you'd like to read more about Boston XChange or see it, you can go to their website. I just want to get it right, so I'm going to pull it up here on my screen just so I don't botch it. But read Shirley Ling, apologies, on the BostonGlobe.com for more info, or go to bxchange.org. Boston XChange there. So shout out Jaylen. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the PrizePicks community today. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 while watching Team USA rack up the gold medals this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup of players across basketball, soccer, tennis, golf, and more in as little as 60 seconds. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and you're locked in. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Sam and I use PrizePicks all throughout the NBA playoffs as the Celtics were making their run. If you guys tuned into the pregame show, you saw it. We like Drew Holiday blocks. We always picked Jayson Tatum to get a dunk. That was a lock for us. And we always picked less on the opposing stars' points. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Next thing, Brian Robb of Mass Live recently did a mailbag answering some Celtics questions, and I figured we could, go in, take a look at them, and give our thoughts on the mailbag. Let's open it up here. So I'm going to ask the question. We're going to give our answers, and then we'll look at B-Rob's and see if he agrees with us. Shut up, Brian Robb. Go read the article. It's at masslive.com. It's a mailbag. Who on the Celtics will have the biggest jump from last season to this upcoming season? Also, do you think Jaylen could have another big leap, or do you think this is the best we could get just on better efficiency? From Nathan R. Thoughts, Sam?
Might be Tatum. You might feel the same way. We've talked about it. Tyler Rucker was the one that I think said it first to us. It was just like, maybe he has that weird burden off his back where he's like, oh my God, I won the finals. Now I'm not as stressed anymore playing. Like when he first became an all-star, he took his game to a new level. That brief window after the 2020 All-Star game before the bubble, Tatum was like scorched earth. And we just talked about with the Hayward situation, like that bubble was Tatum's emergence to me. Like that's when he really became a superstar. And it was all after he was recognized finally as being an all-star. So as somebody coming off his first NBA finals, I think he may have one more in him, as the Vince Carter meme says. He may be able to take yet another leap.
Got one more in me. Just for the sake of not picking a star, just because I think they're already all good. I think Tillman, man. I've been in on Tillman for a while. I think Tillman's going to have a phenomenal next season. I have obviously the bet with Jake Eisenberger first the floor that I think he's going to shoot at least 38% on at least 100 3-point attempts. I think if the 3-point shot can get to around that spot, you have a guy who can give you 20 minutes a night. Like I think he can already play 20 minutes a night. And honestly, I think if he can hit his threes, it's 25-30. Like I'm so unbelievably high on Xavier Tillman as a player. I think he's a phenomenal defender, which is always the best first place to start. And I believe in the 3-point shot. And I think if that's there, he's got to be a staple in the rotation, regardless of who's healthy. So I'm all in on Tillman. I think he earned the trust of Joe a little bit last year in the playoffs. And I think that's a big thing. So I'm all in on Tillman. As far as the Jaylen part of the question, do you think Jaylen could have another big leap, or do you think it's the best we can get? I still think there's room, and every year Jaylen has improved. That's always been his thing. I think it's going to be more efficiency. Obviously, I think that's got to be the main improvement in general, as always. But I think the passing could still get better. I think the defense could still get better, even as crazy as that sounds, because it's already so good. I just think there's always little things you can get better at, and Jaylen's always done that. So I'm never going to count out improvement from Jaylen Brown. So
yeah, we may see like a larger sample size of March Jaylen. If you remember listening to the show, I was all in on Jaylen in March. Jaylen was playing like 2018 LeBron, where LeBron could not be stopped going to the rim. Like, he was just stronger than everybody. He was moving people around with his body. He was just easily getting wherever he wanted with the ball. And heading into a massive playoff run that we were all pretty nervous to watch, because if they didn't win, it would have been a disaster. That was a huge revelation, knowing that Jaylen could go to that level. And now maybe he has another confidence boost, much like the one I predict for Tatum. Maybe he just goes into that mode more often. We've seen it's there. He did it against the reigning champion Nuggets. Like, it wasn't like it was against scrub teams. Like, that was a meaningful game. It was a night where Tatum didn't particularly have it, and he took over, and he was like the main focal point of the defense too. And he was still able to just get whatever he wanted. So I would love to see Jaylen go up another level. He was super efficient during that stretch too. He looked confident throughout the playoffs. He won both the MVP awards in the East Finals and the Finals. Sure, I could see him taking a leap too.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in on those guys. Obviously, as you do after they win a championship. Next question. How much is Tatum losing?
Jaylen?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. He said that's a tough one. He said, I'm intrigued by Xavier Tillman, what he'll look like with a full year under his belt. Peyton Pritchard had a strong year, but it still feels like he's capable of hitting another level. And then he said with Jaylen, I think he's been consistent as anyone, improving from year to year. I'd be looking for more on building upon his playmaking and other / turnover reduction. So there you go. How much is Tatum losing his shot in the playoffs just fatigue from the number of minutes he logs versus coincidence versus something else? From Daniel. Is he hurt? Like, I saw somebody put this in our comments earlier. Like, it is just so weird how his 3-point shooting just fell off a cliff 2 years ago and never really returned to the same level. It was a lot better this regular season. It's still just a little inconsistent. I think that's just the inconsistent you're going to get when he's taking as tough shots as he gets. And as much as we can say, oh, set him up better, set him up better, set him up better, at the end of the day, he's Jayson Tatum. Like, there's only a level of easy 3-point shots you can get when you're that good of a player and you're getting that much attention. And so I think for
he's
him,
gotten easy ones, and they look good, and they just haven't fallen.
I know, but I think it's just getting used to hitting those contested shots and staying consistent. Like, we know he can shoot. We know he is a good shooter. It's just a matter of finding the rhythm. I saw somebody in our YouTube comments question whether or not he's got a wrist injury or needs wrist surgery. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. There's not even a pathway for me to start guessing about that. I don't know. It just feels like got to keep going. Like, it just feels like it's cold right now, and you never know when it's going to get good again, but you know he can shoot. So it's just let it go, I guess.
Can he shoot?
Yes. Don't do that. I have too big of a headache to deal with your bullshit right now. You know he can shoot. Don't play the game.
Just, I mean, there is like a line of like clear change. It may, like, he might be injured. Like, the commenter, the questioner,
43%, 37%, 40%, 39%, then 2 years of 35, then 38% again. Yes, he can shoot. Don't do that.
Those 35, like, no, but like what I'm talking about is like after that, because what happened was people hypothesized that he hurt his wrist during the 2022 run. He had not shot well that season, proceeded to shoot poorly the next season by his standards. And then this year he gets to go to the regular season. Postseason was brutal for Tatum shooting threes. I don't know if I feel like he's injured, but I do feel like something's not right.
He's a streaky shooter. He's absolutely a streaky shooter, but he can't shoot.
Okay.
You can't have watched Tatum for the past 7 years of your life and then sit there and legitimately say, can he shoot? Yes, he can shoot. He's
Tatum
been cold.
He's
had a couple bad shooting
he's
seasons.
Making it when he shoots it.
But that should not be the bar of can or can't.
He used to be in the club.
Because he used to have a different role.
He was in the club even during the bubble run when he was the guy.
But he wasn't getting the attention he's getting now. Then. Not even close.
Also true.
Not anywhere close.
It's true. It's true.
I think
I don't disagree.
He takes some bad shots. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. He absolutely does.
That's not what I'm fighting. But saying he can't shoot, I don't think that's the problem. I think he takes too many of the bad shots. I don't think he gets enough spacing because of the pressure he sees to see the good ones that he used to get. And so I think it's a matter of just taking the good ones. And I think that'll probably even her out to around 7.5 a game. And he was at 8.2 this season. So I think if you cut 1-3 a game, one of the bad shots, then you're in a good spot. And then I think the percentages will go up. And like Tyler Rucker said, maybe he was pressing this year. Maybe he was pressing extra hard in the playoffs to find a shot, and we'll see something different. But saying Tatum can't shoot, I think is too far.
That is a theory number one.
Yeah. Anyways, Brian Robb said Tatum has been somewhat of a streaky 3-point shooter in his career, so I take most of his slump in the postseason for 3 as a coincidence above all else. The length of which he struggled is probably the longest of his career, given he had a 25-game stretch shooting below 30% since the start of April. The fact that his struggles have persisted so far during the Olympics is not ideal and is probably a contributing factor to his benching in the opener. It was a bit wild to even see him hit the side of a backboard on a quarter jumper against South Sudan. His lack of aggressiveness, obviously, in that contest was noteworthy, but understandable given the competition. There's little doubt the Celtics will be monitoring his fatigue closely this year coming off the finals and Olympics, but it's hard to blame that for his shooting woes given the short series that the Celtics played. If he struggles out of the gate next season, it's time to worry a little bit, but I'm not there yet giving his track record. Fair. Shout out B-Rob. Next question. Do the Celtics have a single, quote, bad contract?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think they do.
Even if they do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm thinking through.
Maybe Porzingis, if you're really afraid of his long-term health.
KP maybe. Drew's a big one because he's going to get paid a lot by the time he gets older. But I don't think you can look at the books and say, like, objectively, that's a really bad contract. Like, the Celtics have all good players, all good contracts, in my opinion.
It's just really tough to be like, they have a bad contract after they just won a title. Just about everybody contributed to it. And they're also grandfathered into paying everybody, and they don't really have any moves to make at this point. So it's not like, wow, if they didn't have to pay this player, then they could really get better. Like, it doesn't feel like they have to get better, oddly enough. And it doesn't feel like there's anybody hindering them from being the best they could be. So it's really tough to be like, yeah, I hate that guy's contract right now.
Yeah, I agree. Brian Robb's thoughts on it. Hold up, I have to cough. Excuse me. Said they don't, and that's a very big part of what made the team successful. He bought low on starter level players like D White and KP, and also hit on bench players like Hauser and Cornette. Drew Holiday's deal has a chance to age poorly eventually, but even after his play this postseason, that's a contract most any contender would be happy to take on. So there you go. Last question. What areas of the game can the Celtics improve in the next season, including the coaching stuff? Thank you, from Nikita.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Shot selection.
Okay.
Certain individuals might be able to take better shots.
Sure.
But in fairness to that particular individual or two, during especially the finals, took pretty decent shots, especially in the big moments.
Don't say individual or two as if you're not just.
Well, I put Jaylen in that category too because we literally talked about how great he was when he just decided he was bigger than everybody and could body them at the rim and got right to the rim, and that was when he was playing his best ball. Like, we saw that version of Tatum in the closeout moments of a couple finals games. Like, he said, that's enough. I'm going to the basket. I'm long. I'm bigger than everybody. Nobody can stop me. And that may be the thing that flips the switch to him taking another leap this year. If he's able to do that more consistently, you're probably taking away 1 or 2 bad step back threes and having him go inside and just dominate in a different fashion.
I agree. And I get it. And 100% Tatum could stand to cut back on the threes a little bit, stand to cut back on a couple of those and drive. I'd love to see him drive to the rim more. It's just crazy. 29 other fan bases punch you in the face for saying that. Not because of you're wrong, because of the level of nitpick that Celtics fans are allowed to have at this point. Because Celtics had the best offense. Listen. I listen. Celtics had the best for us to sit here and say, and I wholly agree. I think Tatum could stand it, cut back on a couple of those. I think the Celtics could do a better job every once in a while moving the ball when things get stale. 100% I agree. But for Celtics people to sit here and complain about those things when they had the best offense in NBA history technically last year, but at the very least the best offense in the NBA by a pretty wide margin, were the 4th most efficient team in the league and the 6th most efficient 3-point team on the most attempts by far. everyone else would be very pleased. I'll put it that way. Like the level of nitpicking the Celtics are allowed to have because of how good they are is nuts. And I just want to shine a light on, as much as I agree and you agree and everyone would agree that Tatum could take a couple fewer threes or the Celtics could work a little harder, they were still absolutely incredible on the offensive end, like historically good offensive team.
Welcome to August question for you. You might get mad at this question.
Probably.
Do you think that they could have been better?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm just curious.
Maybe, but they were the best offense ever. And so I'm not going to sit here, and they won a championship. So I'm not going to sit here and complain that they
could have lost 0 games in the playoffs.
Yeah, like that's effectively what's happening here. And also, I was reading playoff numbers. They were the 8th most efficient team in the league and the 2nd most efficient 3-point team on 3 more 3-point attempts than anybody else took per game. Probably pretty good. Also, the 7th most efficient free throw shooting team, if that's what we want to complain about too, which is crazy considering how much we complained about that. They're probably a lot worse in the playoffs because they struggled from the free throw line in the playoffs. It felt like they were a pretty average free throw team in the playoffs. And they still shot 81%. But yeah, like I get it. And that's the point where we're at. And when you're asking how can they improve, I agree it's there a little bit. I think rebounding could be a little bit better too if we want to get into other stuff. I think the defense, I can't really complain about the defense. They're pretty fucking good on defense. And they were good at holding on to leads last year too, as much as that was a nitpick. Like they didn't blow up any leads. They let teams back into it. So I guess if we want to nitpick, don't let teams back into it, step on the neck a few more times. But
yeah,
again, they won, they lost 20 games all year, right? 21 games all year.
T-shirts.
So yeah. Brian Robb says, it's pretty tough to find a lot of ways for a 64-win title team to improve after they cruised through the playoffs at 16-3. Celtics had the best offense in the league and the 3rd best defense, so maintaining anything close to those levels would be a huge win for the franchise, given the improvements around the Eastern Conference. There's room for growth in crunch time. Yes, we didn't talk about that. Execution from the regular season for sure, but the Celtics looked far better in those moments during the postseason. See the Pacers series. Coaching-wise, the challenge will be bigger balanced playing time to around injuries and filling the loss for the guy like Charles Lee will force other assistants to step up. But this is a coaching staff with plenty of rising stars on the assistant front. Just doing what they did last year again would be a big win for the franchise. I agree. If they could do what they did last year, that would be a big win. 100%.
Other improvement, play Springer.
Sure.
If you can find time, get him out there. He's a good player.
All right. Last Celtics thing before the email. Jayson Tatum recently spoke a little bit again about the benching, and the way this was phrased just makes him sound like a dick again for no reason. So the title of the article was Tatum expresses empathy for bench players, which, like, bro, like I get it.
Rich guy.
Come on. Yeah.
Empathy for poor people.
He says, quote, you can be frustrated that you want to play as a competitor, but maybe have some empathy for some of the guys on my team that don't always get to play or play spot minutes. He said this via the Athletics' Joe Vardon. So it's a learning experience to have to see it from that point of view and just move from it. Basically, he's just saying, like, I've never had to experience that, but getting to experience that, like, I appreciate those guys a little more. But phrasing it as, and this wasn't Joe Vardon phrasing it as, this was like a Bleacher Report aggregation that I saw titled that way. Saying like, oh, he's empathy for bench players now. Like, you just know people are going to take that on Twitter and just shit on him or find ways to, which is annoying.
Tatum sits on the bench once. Wouldn't wish someone.
He said he was going to last year. Liar.
Yeah, he lied. That's actually why Kerr benched him.
It's true.
Kerr was like, remember when you said this? You thought we'd all forget? Get fucked. Game 1 of the Olympics. Keep your warm-ups on, buddy.
Yeah. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. I remember my dad taking me to Fenway Park as a kid, getting to watch David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia sitting in the Green Monster and taking in all there is to love about the iconic ballpark. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Taking a look at my Game Time app right now, I see plenty of great deals to watch my favorite sports teams and my favorite tickets to Noah Khan. You guys know that's my favorite artist. I even used it while in Las Vegas for Summer League to get tickets to a women's basketball game. Some of my favorite features in the Game Time app include letting me see what the price is going to be with fees included. It makes so much easier to take a look and see what the actual price I'm going to pay is. Also, you get to see exactly where you are sitting. It's a great way to know exactly the experience you're going to get. I also love the fact that you can get great last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, or anything else. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Anyways, let's go to the email here.
Do our
See what you guys had to say. What do you say?
Do our mailbag.
Yeah, our mailbag time. We have an impressive growth in SEO suggestions spam email, which I won't read on the pod. Oh, yeah, we did get a couple. But we do have one email today to go over.
Which is never
Sam,
spam.
who's it from? Who do you think?
From RJ. I think
Mr. RJ. Shout out RJ. Okay. He says, rat list dying on a hill. We can do this here since it's our only email. Morning, folks. Love the Friday drop as you reminded me about something I've wanted to comment on in sports journalism that bugs the crap out of me. Writers
the only one.
and broadcasters who are masquerading as reporters. What I mean by that is a reporter goes to an event and notes what happens. Then they craft the narrative based on the facts at hand. Everyone has a perspective, but at the heart of reporting are the factual details and expressing them accurately. The long-winded gas bags who have spread the mold these days are much more interested in staking out their position and always being right. The first part is fine for opinion writers. The second part is, well, bad. If the story unfolds in a way that's different from your opinion, you have to respond accordingly, admit the new data into evidence, change your mind, and express a new opinion. Instead, these human clown shoes double and triple down on their hot take. I want to say this trend started around 30 years ago with the Heisman Trophy coverage. People would speculate at the start of the season about who might be the candidates, which was good, but then it turned into defending whoever was anointed in August rather than paying attention to the great on-field performances throughout the season. I know the argument is made that this is how you drive engagement, but it is all clickbaiting done live on air. To end on a positive note, I became a fan of HBTC last year because of the two of you did honest reporting on what a lot of people might consider boring crap, scouting reports of Summer League signees. I'm still here because you keep putting in the effort to get accurate information. Please don't F that up. Be well, RJ, and a cranky bastard about accuracy in journalism. Thanks, RJ. We try our best, you know.
I don't think we
clickbait.
We'll bitch about nonsense from time to time, but I think we do a pretty good job. We're honest individuals.
We do all right. We try our best. I did forget to timestamp the email start, so that's.
Oh, also, just random thing. Now I'm seeing a clip of him on Twitter. Nobody thought Donovan Mitchell was a USA snub. Nobody went up in arms about that when Derek White got put on Team USA. Nobody was like, why didn't they put Donovan Mitchell on the team?
Jaylen Brunson.
Well, Brunson, yeah. They got the fan base. They think he's the best player ever.
Exactly. I'm saying I didn't say anything about that. It was all JB. It was just, I mean, as much as I agree and understand what you're doing, it was also JB because JB directly tweeted about it too. So like JD, he did put himself in the fire. There is literally zero NBA news. And so instead of NBA news, we're going to play an NBA game. No. Sorry. Come on, man. We're not doing it. We'll do it eventually. Let me pull it up. So I usually find NBA news by just going to Bleacher Report's like feed. Like I'll just go on here and say, okay, I saw something on here that was Bleacher Report daily NBA trivia, and I closed the tab. And so I want to try to find it. Yeah, so it's here. I'll share a screen on YouTube and I'll read it aloud for those of you listening on audio platforms. It's Play Streaks, BR's 10-question trivia streak for today. So I figured we could do this in lieu of actual NBA news because, like I said, there's nothing. So starting here, can you answer 10 straight, get one wrong, and you're done. Which country does Olympian Steph Curry represent nationally? Okay, well, if this is going to be this easy. USA. Thank you. It's time, too, so we got to go a little quick. This NFL team used to play in St. Louis, Rams. Okay, I didn't think this would be this easy.
I think the time might be a factor. It might get harder.
This Scott and two-time Wimbledon winner announced his retirement yesterday. I think it's Andy Murray,
It's Murray, yeah.
I think it's Andy Murray. Yeah.
But he said I didn't like tennis anyway.
With who did Saquon Barkley begin his NFL career?
Giants.
The Giants. Okay, this is far easier than I wanted it to be. Jets, Giants, Chargers,
Rams.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because they both play at LA. I was like, what? That took me a second. This forward made All NBA first team 3 years in a row. Shout out Mr. Jayson Tatum, beast. Getting some Celtics love in the Bleacher Report trivia. In 2019, this ACC school won its first men's basketball NBA Division I
Virginia.
tournament. Okay, thank you. Next up, where did Saquon Barkley play college football?
Penn State. We are.
All right.
Funny story. Penn State.
This wide receiver caught the game-winning touchdown for the Steelers in Super Bowl 50, whatever it was. Santonio Holmes, I think. It's the end zone one, right? Yeah. It was the toe tap in the end zone against the Cardinals. 3 different MLB players have hit 500 home runs for this franchise. Ooh. Giants,
A-Rod,
Yankees, Red Sox,
Babe Ruth. Philly's got to be the Yankees.
It's got to be Mickey Mantle or something. Yeah.
It might be Mantle.
No. Was it Barry
Was it the
Bonds of the Giants? Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Damn. We almost cooked. Cooked.
Penn State. My friend and his dad both went to Penn State.
Yeah.
And I guess they were at a wedding or something. My friend's dad got wind that somebody else at the wedding had gone to Penn State. So he just started screaming, "We are" at the person. Like, "We are." And you're supposed to say Penn State. It took a couple tries.
But he responded eventually?
Yeah, he was just like, "We are." And nobody said anything. So he said it again. Yeah.
That's great. Do you want to do any other games or anything like that? Or you want to just go to the rat list right now? I got nothing. I don't know what else we could do.
We'll go to the rat list.
There's no NBA stuff. All right. You want to kick us off, Sam? What you got? This might be a shorter pod just because there's literally no basketball stuff to talk about outside of the Celtics right now.
Rat list. See, I went to the baseball game Wednesday. We did the pod that day. Just stayed home yesterday. I feel like you.
I can start.
Go ahead.
Rat list college football 25. Sam and I started a dynasty last night with Henry and Frank, and I got beat by FCS. Because
if you don't know, FCS is like the fake teams they put in.
Yeah.
To give you a gimme
just a
win.
really bad team. And I lost because I fumbled 3 times, which if you don't play video games, I do not have control over whether or not I fumble. That is wholly like chance, luck, whatever. And I fumbled 3 times, and all 3 were ran back for touchdowns. There's literally nothing I can possibly do about that. And then I played again last night, and I was really mad, and my opener with my UMass Dynasty, which is just offline, something I'm doing, was against number 1 ranked Florida State, and I whooped them. I had like 5 picks.
Love Florida State and the chop. I love the chop.
I had like 5 picks, and then I was like, why is that so easy? I checked my settings. It changed back. Like, it fucks it up. I play on All-American, but it changed it back to varsity. So I felt shit. I'm like, damn. And then I played against TCU again. Like, there's no middle ground. Varsity is way too easy, and All-American is like there's no... They need a difficulty in between. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes from too easy,
Heisman?
baby food. No, fuck no. I'm not good. I'm not good at Madden. I don't play Madden. But
I've been playing so much this game that I'm
crazy.
good enough to play on Heisman. I'll tell you that is
pain in the ass. Anything above varsity is gonna make you want to punch the wall. It's because it's not even like, oh, it'll be a little bit harder. It'll be, they'll have a few more open plays. They'll read your defense better. It is. Your O-line becomes a pudding, like nothing. Like, your players get worse. Like, your computers get significantly stupider. Like, it doesn't. That's the part that frustrates me. Like, I built a 90+ O-line at my UMass thing, and they just get cooked by an 80 overall school. That doesn't make sense. Like All-American is difficult whether you have a bad team or a good team, and that's what I hate about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is just the same as difficulty. And that is because the way it gets harder is you have less than 2 seconds to pass the ball. Have fun. That sucks. It's just especially because I've spent so long building out my O-line. So, Rattles college football.
Rat list. I drove my dad to the Red Sox game on Wednesday, and we were driving on Sturrow Drive, and Sturrow Drive goes from 3 lanes down.
Yep. There goes Sam. See how long it takes me to get back. He's been quick lately. Knock on wood.
back.
So hopefully it doesn't take. Welcome back. Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
So I'm driving a Sturo Drive with my dad. The thing is going down from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. As I signal to get over to the left because I know we have to get off towards Boylston Street. As I'm signaling and I go over, the person like tries to speed up and then gets all mad at me because I merged. Like, what do you want
Yeah.
out of me? I
Yeah.
told you I was coming.
Yeah, that's what
And
someone
they
did to my sister the other day too.
like
They
people
honk
talk
at you.
about Massachusetts driver being real bad. Like,
They honk at you.
what is the thought process there?
Yeah. Did they honk? Did they get like slammed on the
Yeah.
horn?
They're pissed.
Fucked up. I also saw someone get mad at me in the comments for being a quote left lane camper, and I felt the need to contextualize what I was saying. Driving back
politics.
No. Driving back from the Cape, it's 2-lane highway. I'm not going in
You
the left
have
lane,
to.
the right lane. Yeah, I have to go in the left lane, and I'm going like 80 in like I'm going a fair speed.
I don't
So
think there's
people
anything wrong
behind me
with
want to
being
go
a left
90.
lane camper if you're going speed to be a left lane.
Exactly. I was going 80, and I feel like that's a valid speed to be a left lane camper. So I feel the need. Route list the electrical stuff in my house. So it hasn't happened. Knock on wood, this podcast. The fuse for just my room just blows randomly.
Oh no!
So like in the last 4 days, my power has gone up maybe 6 times, and I have to go down to the basement to flip the switch back and fix it, and it's gross. Like the basement's nasty. Like it's not like a normal finished basement. It's not like
Correct.
you can get there from inside my house. I have to go outside and into the basement, and it's this tiny little fucking hobbit hole that I have to get into. And I'm a big dude. I'm like 6'2". And so I'm getting in there. I have to duck my head. I have to put a sweatshirt on because there's spider webs and cobwebs everywhere. It's gross. It's nasty. And if I stand up fully, I'm going to get spider webs. So I go down there a couple times yesterday, go down there today. And as I'm coming out, I get out so fast. And first of all, context. First time I went to go in there yesterday, I see a spider crawl up into the space above the door. And so I can't see it anymore, and I can't kill it without going in, and I have to go directly under where that fucking thing just went. So I don't fuck with spiders. I don't care. Call me a bitch, call me whatever you want. Fuck spiders. Not a fan. And this was a big motherfucker too.
Yeah, I don't care for him.
Hate it. Hate bugs. Hate all that shit. It's gross. So I'm coming out today, and I'm like trying to run and go at the same time, and I lift my head soon enough. I genuinely feel ill. Like I definitely, absolutely gave myself a concussion. I feel like shit, and it probably, if anybody had seen me, looked like a comedy sketch. Like
Did you swing at the thing after you hit your head? Like,
no, I was in
back?
tears. No, I was in tears. Like it was that hard. Like I like ran inside, went to the freezer, had to put ice in my head, like crying. Like that was the hardest I've hit my head in a long time. I absolutely have a concussion. It was so bad. Like I can usually like rub it off, like get angry and like punch, like as you're describing. That's usually how I deal with it. That was like, oh my God, I'm gonna vomit, like pain. Like I was like, holy shit. So I'm fine, but my God, that hurt like that. So rat list my electrical whatever just decided to go up because nothing changed. I think it's because there's like an AC plugged in like in the other room adjacent to me now, which is connected to this. Ooh. But like everything that I have on, like I have my AC, my computer, and my extension cord charger, etc., is what I've had on since I've lived in this room. So I don't get it.
So that is like my nightmare. Not only do you have like something, you're inconvenienced because whatever you were doing just turned off. Then you have to go downstairs into an undersized space to turn it back on. Then you hit your head. When I hit my head on something like that, I always like swing at it. Like I'll give it like a palm right back.
Additional context. This wasn't like dink the first of my forehead. I like jumped up into it and hit like the top of my head. Yeah. Like awful. Just fucking awful. And it turns off when I'm like in the middle of doing shit. Like I'll be in the middle of a game on college football, in the middle of writing something, and just everything just shuts down. It's very annoying.
You give me like 3 of those, I'd start screaming.
It happened twice within an hour yesterday, and I wanted to lose my mind.
When I was young, back in the day, when the phone would go off, my internet would be disrupted. So I would be playing Xbox, and the phone would ring, and I would like if you were in the Xbox party, you would hear no.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was a good recreation. Also ratless college football because like I said I lost to FCS and then I just beat Kansas the next game. You want to know why? Because I didn't fucking fumble 3 times. Shocker. Who would have thought? I beat Kansas State,
I've
ranked
been
15th.
cooking. I might have figured out college football. I'm playing good defense.
I thought I figured out defense last night. Then I realized they switched my setting to varsity, and I figured out nothing.
See, like
Not
everything
annoying.
I still have to work for. It's
What do you
just
do in
like,
defense? How do you figure it out? What do you do? Do you play in a specific scheme? Like, is there something you do?
It depends, like if I'm winning or not. Like if I'm winning, then I'll run cover 4 because they're more inclined to try and score quickly by passing. So it
Okay.
makes it your defense is better, and then I just run zone blitz when it's like a
I
normal.
run a lot of I think it's cover quarter, which is probably similar to what you're talking about.
That's
With the guy in the middle with like an MLB, and I control the MLB and I could try to cover in the middle of the field. But then it'll be a short down. And I'll run flats and they'll just go deep on me and I'll be cooked. So it's like, gotta find the balance, man. It's so I will say though, great fucking game. It's everything. Everything
it's
that
borderline
it was hyped
ratless
up
for
to
me
be.
because I think I'm addicted. Like I'm
Me too.
addicted to it.
Absolutely, I am absolutely addicted.
I'm addicted to
it.
the drums.
My buddy the drums, special stuff. My buddy just texted our group chat today, picking up the Xbox during lunch today, and talking about a dynasty. And there's like 8 of us. It's special. It's special stuff. I'm so excited to play. Henry's sleeping over his girlfriend's house the next couple nights because her parents are going away and she doesn't want to stay alone because she has to watch the dog. I might make him take the Xbox with him. Brother, take
I
him
won't
to
be
the team.
around tomorrow night. So.
No, I'm saying for our dynasty with like my other buddies, you're good. But yeah. Yeah, special. Tulane best logo. I got nothing else. Do you have anything else? I have a headache. I need to go lie down.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, unfortunately.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If the inevitable person comments talking about my concussion, I promise I'll be okay. Thank you very much. Make sure to leave a like. Leave us a review on Apple. We haven't had a review in a while. I'll do a live check right now, but the reviews really help us grow on podcast platforms because I don't think there's another way to realistically grow on those without the reviews and just promotion and stuff like that. So I'll remind, as always, goalie review on the Apple podcast. Let me go on over here and see what the last one we got was. Last review we got was from April 2nd, 2024. So go goalie review, be a new one for the summer. We'd appreciate it very much. Leave us 5 stars there on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. We have like over 500 followers on Spotify, which is wild. And all I'd say, I'm taking it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily uploads coming at you with new content at 5 a.m. daily, whether it is these pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, other stuff in between. We have game recaps the morning after each game. So you'll be getting the Olympic one on Monday because we aren't around on Saturday to record it. You can also find all of our pods and recaps on Spotify and Apple. Like Jack mentioned, leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate it. If you follow us, those will go right into your feed. You'll find us nice and easy. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address for that. Saw RJ email us today. Get in on the fun. We love to hear from you guys. Send your thoughts in. hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address for that. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. All of our streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack Simone NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Stop.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.